When America first became independent, there were hardly any industries. In order to keep the American economies economically dependent on Britain, the British had purposely prevented the development of independent American manufacturing. Americans could mine and grow raw products for export to Britain, but they were seldom allowed to transform those raw products into finished goods. And just as today, America is dependent on Chinese manufacturing, when George Washington took office, America was dependent on British manufacturing. And in fact, early America's economy was so backwards and underdeveloped that George Washington spent months and months and months trying to find an American-made suit for his inauguration. But Washington and his allies, like Alexander Hamilton, had insights into how economics and political power intersected that would be lost on most of our modern leaders. Washington realized that a country that could not produce its own goods, that was dependent on its political and economic rivals for finished products, could never become truly independent. A country that controls the industries and the workshops controls the future. If America failed to build its own manufacturers, if America failed to make its own cloth, its own suits, its own guns, its own machines, then it would forever be a colony of Britain. America needed to industrialize, and Washington and his allies had a plan to make it happen. Over the next decades, Washington, Alexander Hamilton, and their various successors developed an economic policy known as the American System, in which trade restrictions, industrial planning, and infrastructure programs protected American manufacturing and gave American businesses and industries the support that they needed to establish themselves, grow, and prosper without being crushed by foreign competition from more established industrial powers. While the American system always had its opponents, those who said that if America opened up its markets, embraced free trade, and had the government take a smaller role in the economy, we would grow faster, and there was always political fights over the extent to which the American system would be implemented. For the most part, these sort of American system style policies defined America's large-scale economic program from George Washington until the beginning of the Reagan-Clinton era. This patriotic economic program, in which the market was put to work for the good of the American Republic, proved to be wildly successful. Within 150 years, America went from being barely able to produce a single suit to being the world's greatest industrial power, the arsenal of democracy, the workshop of the world.